You guys are now back-to-back champions, and as we were talking a little bit out in the hall, sounds like you guys are now the measuring stick of the nation. Just talk about this whole experience.
Oh, this is, well, first of all, it's just such a great event. It kind of, it brings closure to a season, and it gives guys, especially our program and other programs like us, something to play for and look forward to in terms of, bringing it to closure instead of just ending on a regular season game. It means a lot to us. I mean, it's a first-class event, great venue each year it's been at, and I think it's just good. The bottom line is I think it's good for players. It's good for the guys because that's what this is about. It's not about me. It's not about you guys, no offense, but it's good for these kids and the players.
Coach, you guys lost to Montfort earlier in the year. What adjustments, if any, did you make today versus last
Well,
week?
we got two of our guys healthy from that game, first off, Tristan and Marco. So that was huge for us. We were definitely we felt we were a little shorthanded down there when that happened, but nonetheless, it's not. They're a good team, and they've had such a tremendous second half of the season for them. I think early on they've had some losses, but we just. The key for us is our defense. That's what we always pride ourselves on, and that's what we know we needed to do in terms of wanting to have the success that we were able to have is on the defensive end. Play the game in the backcourt, especially with a 35-second shot clock. You get teams to feel a little rushed, and then you're not going to see necessarily the fruits of your labor in the first quarter, but it's going to be that third and fourth quarter where you see those results.
Yeah. There's 2 free throws in a row, you bricked the second one really badly, but then you come down and dunk it in traffic, and that started the 13-0 run. Talk about what you're trying to do, if anything, to get things going there.
I was just trying to get momentum from my team, as you say, hit one of the free throws out the backboard. I know it's like, get back on defense. Coach Peck says if you make a mistake on offense, just get back on defense. And that's what I try to do and try to help my team out as much ways as possible.
Speaking of that 13-0, was that a bigger factor in the determinant of the game, or was it not them not having a field goal for the last 3:45?
Well, I think the key is like we during that one media timeout in the second half, I felt 2 times during the game, in the first half and then the start in this third quarter, where we took a couple steps forward and tried to and kind of started to look like we were going to separate on some runs, and then we took a step backwards by letting them back into it, and they made some tremendous plays to do that. But I told them the third time, guys, this is going to happen. I think we've learned from it, and if I think then when we get on that next run, I think then we're going to really separate and we're going to put it away. In my opinion, and fortunately, that's what they did.
The lift Nick gave you in the third quarter there, made some big shots, some good defensive plays, and then Nick, if you could kind of talk about that, saw that, as an opportunity to kind of make some big shots to the team.
Geez almighty, finally hit a 3 for us. I tell you right now what we're going to work on with the off season with him. But no, I mean, that's what players do. That's what players of his caliber do. I mean, they step up. They know. You know what? The thing that I say is, guys like that sometimes in those situations get a little bit nervous and timid and don't want to take that shot. He had big kahunas. He stepped up and took that thing like he'd made the last 8 in a row. And you know what? That's what he did, and it was a huge lift for us.
I mean, my dad always tells me it doesn't matter about the next shot. Get out of here. Have a quick memory. I mean, just go shoot the next shot and shoot. I don't know. I just came up, was open, just shot the ball.
Brandon.
Corey, last time you guys played this team, Caleb was the MVP, and now this time you're the MVP. So obviously, how you guys play is big to the success of the team. So kind of talk about, is there a dynamic there where you're kind of going at each other and you know that you have to shut him down and vice versa?
Most definitely, he's a great player. They have great players and they're a great program. So we just had to pick them up full, play hard, and hopefully things will work out for us, which they did.
Can the 3 seniors, specifically Godwin, talk about their experience with Findlay and how it's come to the end? I mean, Godwin, you've been with the program the longest, and this is the last game. And do you have any feelings, and Tristan and Corey as well?
It has been an awesome experience for me. I mean, winning last year and coming back again to win again, it's a dream come true for me.
Yeah. I mean, I couldn't ask for any more. We won 2 years in a row. The only 2 years I've been here. Only lost 2 games. All the players that came through there, like my brothers, we still talk, and it's been unbelievable.
Mike, can you talk a little bit about Godwin and the role he has on your team, and how he's almost like an unsung hero on your club? Doesn't stuff the stat sheets, but...
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things with a 3-year player, a veteran player, And what's so key to him is the way he is as a person. His personality, his demeanor is such that, you know, he leads by example. You know, guys look up to him, and he has instant credibility and respect just because he's gone through it for 3 years and with the success, winningest player in our program's history. Not that we've been around for 30 or 40 years, but nonetheless, he's been there since day one with us and helped us win, you know, 90 some odd games, and he's only experienced 3 times going in that locker room after a game where we've had our head down a little bit.
Coach, for the final question, I guess, do you think you guys are the best team in the nation?
Yeah, I mean, you guys tell me. I mean, you guys are the polls will be assembled and stuff. I know this. I'm not trading any of our guys for anybody. I love our guys, and I think we're a good team. Now, where we fall in those rankings and all that stuff, that's up to you guys. I'm not going to touch that.
Because there had been talk about you playing Gates, and that just didn't happen, right?
Yeah,
basically.
we were going to play him right after we went to the Montverde tournament, and unfortunately, with Tristan and Marco in boots for 3 weeks, it wasn't what people would have wanted in terms of the programs. It wouldn't have been a true indication of this Findlay team representing what we are and who we are going against their team in that setting. So I just felt, you know what, in the best interest of us and everybody that's going to be involved with it, it wouldn't have been what they expected or wanted.
Any other questions? Yes, Ron?
To the Canucks, what exactly is going on up there? Up there in Toronto? I mean, is it a developing youth league system or whatever? How are so many great players being produced out of that T-Dot area?
Well, this Coach Rowe has AU programs going on, and there's an OBA, which was like kind of like a rep league going on where people compete and play. And there's a lot of teams, high school, just people just getting better, just working at their high schools and trying to come down here and make good things happen.
Did you guys ever play hockey?
Coach Simon tells me he leads the team in floor burns and charges. Talk about Marcus playing today on 32 and 22. He was really in the shirt and really gave you guys a lift.
Absolutely. That he was one, didn't play early on, wasn't in the rotation as much, and this is where I say the key guy that is partly responsible for his success is Godwin. They had a conversation, and Godwin said, look, because he kept saying, I want to play, and he said, look, I'm going to tell you this, and you do what you want, but if you want to play, Coach Peck is fanatical about defense. That's the one area in our program that's non-negotiable. You're going to play, if you miss shots, I can live with that. If you turn it over, I can live with that. But you're going to guard and defend hard. He bought in, he embraced it, and he said, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. And sure enough, he did, and he had results. So guess what? He's in the rotation. He's earned everything he's gotten just through his energy and effort. You look at him the first 4 minutes of the game, and he's drenched because he's a worker. And that's been a huge part of our success.
Coach, and the guys who were here last year, could you just kind of compare the 2 seasons, and not necessarily like which team was better or whatever, but just like, was it different this year having won last year? Were teams coming at you harder? Were you more of like an upstart last year? How did the 2 seasons kind of compare?
We lost 2 this year. Last year we were able to run the table, so to speak. But the one thing that I'll say is I'm not going to debate the schedules. This year's schedule much more challenging and demanding for us. This is our 11th trip across the country this year. I think last year we made 9, but nonetheless, the caliber and the competition that we played, I mean, if you look, I can't remember the stats exactly, Coach Simons knows those down. We've beaten and played top 20 teams throughout the year, teams that have won or been in the state championships of their tournaments. I mean, arguably much more challenging and tougher schedule this year, but nonetheless, 2 groups that embraced our vision and our plan and our blueprint for what we thought we needed to do to be successful, and they've earned everything they've got.